बोले सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की
जय।
बोले श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की
जय।
एक बार बोले दुर्गा मैया की
जय।
My most humble pranams to each one of you, dear devotees. Devotees, let us all fold our hands in the prayer mode. Take a good look at the divine form of God and Guru placed on the altar. Capture the form of the Lord in your hearts and minds. Doing Roop Dhyan, let us all pay our most humble obeisance at the divine lotus feet of our Supreme Divine Beloved Lord, and then we shall proceed further with the Leela from the Ramayana. Manatha Shree Jagannatho Madguru Shree Jagadguru Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Kripalur Gurave Namah. Guru Raradhanadishcha Guru Paramadaivatam Guru Partaram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Anandamanandakaraprasannam Premaswarupam Brajabhavayuktam Yogindramidhyam Bhavarogavaidyam Gurum Kripalum Pranamami Nityam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namah. Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Puravam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Ananda Kanda Satchidananda Shri Krishna Chandra Charnaravinda Makaranda Milinda Mahanubhav, the blessed souls, eternal and divine. Let us all chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord for a few minutes, and then we shall proceed with our talk on devotion as has been taught by Bhagavan Sri Ramchandraji himself and also in the Ramayana by Maharshi Valmiki and Tulsidas ji. Through the various devotees who were totally surrendered to God, and when Lord Ram tread on this earth for 11,000 years in Treta Yuga, then he actually walked to these devotees. He walked to these devotees to grace them with his physical darshan, with his love, giving them the ultimate and the final fruit of their devotion and their love. So yesterday I talked about Kevat, the boatman, the ferryman, and I did tell you all that how Bhagavan Sri Ramchandraji, the one whose name, if taken only once with complete surrender and faith, with 100% surrender and faith, only once, by chanting, taking, glorifying the name of Lord Ram, leads one across the vast ocean of Maya and enables that individual to attain the supreme divine bliss, the purpose of life, which is God realization. जासु नाम सुमिरत इक बारा उतरहि नर भव सिंधु अपारा. So कृपालु केवट ही निहोरा. That Kripalu Bhagavan is seeking a ferryman, a boatman to take him across River Ganga, a very small river compared to the vast, infinite ocean of Maya. Thus, this amazing, unique, filled with total bliss and love and devotion is the dialogue between Prabhu Ramchandra ji and Kevat, the boatman, where the Kevat absolutely, stubbornly is standing and throwing his view to Bhagavan Ramchandra ji, or you can say his argument, or you can say his humble request to Prabhu Ramchandra ji that please let me wash the dust of your lotus feet, because it does the magic of turning things into Rishis, Munis' wife. Tarani Muni Gharani hoi jai. Referring to Ahilya, who had turned into a rock, and by the touch of the lotus feet of Prabhu Ramchandra ji was blessed back into her original form as Ahilya. Referring to this, the very clever Kevat is saying, I would like to wash the dust of your lotus feet. In fact, internally, he has only one desire, and that is to get the Charana Mrit and the Charana Raj of Bhagavan Ram, which shall enable him to attain his Prabhu Ram. But the crooked words of his. Because straight away, if you would ask, Prabhu Ram will not give his foot dust. He'll say, not me, I'm just a prince of Ayodhya, son of King Dashrath. I'm no one. How humble his Lord is. He's the embodiment of humbleness. And Kevat knows it, because Kevat himself is a very humble devotee. Thus, on the other hand, Bhagavan Ram is saying, I will pay toll, but take me across. Kevat is saying, I will take no toll. I will take no toll. And I won't take you across. And even if I do take toll or not, no toll, I'm still not going to take you across until I wash your lotus feet. And then Bhagavan here surrenders. He accepts defeat. Surrenders to the words of devotion and love that is coming out from Kevat's lotus mouth. The Supreme Almighty, Omnipotent Godhead Personality, Bhagavan Sri Ram Chandra ji accepts defeat. And without giving any toll and having his lotus feet washed, he is then boarded onto the ferryman's boat and taken across the Ganga. Once Bhagavan Ram, Sita and Lakshmanji Maharaj were taken across the Ganga, then Bhagavan Ram, standing on the sands of the bank of river Ganga, along with Mata Sita and Lakshmanji, is feeling very, very upset. Bhagavan is upset? Yes. He's feeling down. Why? He's feeling very bad. Why? This very man has taken me all the way across the Ganga, and I have not given him anything. He refuses to accept anything from me. No toll, nothing. Thus, the Lord, when he is standing very disappointed that he couldn't offer anything to the Kevat, then Mata Sita gives the ring, her jeweled ring, to Bhagwan Ram. She understands because Sita, Mata and Bhagwan Ram are one and the same in two forms. So of course she knows what is making my Swami so sad. She immediately takes her jeweled ring, the very precious ring, very cheerfully, with a cheerful heart, and offers it to Prabhu Ram to offer it to Kevat. And when Prabhu Ram is giving this ring to Kevat, Kevat still refuses to take. He says, "What have I not received, my Lord? What have I not received? Mitai dukh, dosha, daridra, all the fire of my faults, my wrongs, all my sufferings and sorrows and miseries, and all my poverty is all totally wiped away. I am thoroughly, perfectly blessed by the wealth of wealth. What have I not received?" But just because it is your irrefutable law to offer something to your devotees, if that is what it is, then on your way back, on your return, whatever thou wish to give me, I shall receive that. Bhagwan Ram knows that Kevat is simply saying these words to please Prabhu Ram. He surely, absolutely does not seek for anything because of his unconditional love and devotion at the lotus feet of Prabhu Ram. So Bhagwan Ram ultimately offers that unalloyed, unadulterated devotion of his lotus feet to Kevat. That aviral bhakti, the devotion. Devotees only seek this unalloyed devotion, which means total seva, surrender of body, mind, and soul. This is devotion that we are talking about, and this is the example of Kevat. Now, today we will proceed on this devotion and furthermore about other devotees through which Bhagwan Ramchandraji himself personally talks about the devotion and various devotions, various kinds of devotions, and the various kinds of devotees we will see, proceeding with Ram Leela. Let us all chant the glory of our beloved Lord, who is embodiment of love and devotion, seeking for that same unalloyed, unadulterated, that aviral bhakti which these great devotees like Kevat sought for. We all are capable of receiving it as long as we have the humble, pure heart. No crookedness, remember, no cunningness of the mind. Nirmal manajana so mohi pava, mohi kapata chala chidrana bhava. भज मन मेरे आठों याम, श्री राम जय जय राम। Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
भज मन मेरे आठों याम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
ओ भज मन मेरे आठों याम। श्री राम, जय राम, जय जय राम।
भज मन मेरे आठों याम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jय Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
ओ अवध बिहारी राजा राम, बनी आए वृंदावन श्याम।
अवध बिहारी राजा राम, बनी आए वृंदावन श्याम।
हाँ, अवध बिहारी राजा राम, बनी आए वृंदावन श्याम।
अवध बिहारी राजा राम, बनी आए वृंदावन श्याम।
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम।
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम।
ओ मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम।
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम।
ओ मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम। गोपी जन वल्लभ घनश्याम।
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम।
गोपी जन वल्लभ घनश्याम। मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम। गोपी जन वल्लभ घनश्याम।
मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम। गोपी जन वल्लभ घनश्याम।
ओ भज मन मेरे आठों याम। श्री राम, जय राम, जय जय राम।
भज मन मेरे आठों
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
आज मन मेरे आठों याम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Oh, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम। बोले सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। Dear devotees, proceeding with Ram Leela and devotion, today I am going to explain to you all what Bhagwan Ramchandra ji talked about bhakti, about devotion. Devotion in itself means, as I told you all, the total surrender of your hearts, of your minds, with a humble, faithful feeling at the divine lotus feet of Godhead personality, with your body, mind, and your soul, in your thoughts, in your actions, that is, in your deeds, and in your words as well, in your thoughts, in your words, and in your deeds. मन, कर्म और बचन से. Most of us, we talk about devotion and we give our own conclusions about devotion. And we think in our minds that we are devoted. We talk in words about devotion. And in action, what is our devotional act? That which only pleases us. What pleases God? We need to know from God. Bhagwan Ramchandra ji in Ramayana itself has talked about what in thought, word and deed is devotion. It's not halwa puri khana. It's not eating rasgullas and pakwans. And surely is nothing about Jagadanand, about Rasgullanand, about Sharirik Anand. Devotion is pure and spiritual. It is divine in nature. It pertains to the soul's love for God. The individual's mind totally absorbed in the love of God, in the longing of God, in the desperate longing of God, waiting for His appearance, waiting for that one moment's darshan, and that one embrace or touch, if it may come with that darshan. That's all a devotee is desperately waiting for. All the actions of a devotee is aimed at only one thing. Oh my Lord, how, where, when can I get your darshan? Can I just see you with these eyes, where you may grace me with the divine vision, Divya Drishti, and I may see your divine form and get once in my lifetime your divine embrace. It is about Premanand. It is about Ramanand. It is about Krishnanand. It's not about Jagadanand. does. It's nothing what our material minds can think of. I just talked to you all about Kevat, and I gave you a precap about Kevat. Now, moving forward, Bhagwan Ramchandra ji says, Bhakti Swatantra Sakal Sukh Khani. Bhakti is independent. It's not dependent on any practice. If I don't do this, if I don't do this, if I don't do this, then maybe my devotion will not grow stronger. It is dependent on this practice or that practice. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No jnana, no karma, no yoga, and no other practices are needed. You don't have to ornate yourself and decorate yourself physically. All you need to do is ornate and decorate your heart and mind with that absolute faith and that love for the Lord. मन के ऊपर हम लोग ध्यान नहीं देते. 99.99%, if allowed 100% of us who practice devotion, we do not pay any attention to our mind's surrender to God, to our inner self's devotion to God. A lot of our actions are very external, very physical. There is no Ratre, so what are we going to do? That whatever is going to entertain us externally. Dance, eat halwa puri, do this thing, do that thing. What about sitting and crying and longing for the Lord, like Mata Sita did in Ashok Vatika, waiting for Prabhu Ram? And Bhagwan Ram, on his way, is meeting all these greatest of the devotees, showing to us, not only Mata Sita is sitting there and crying, she is myself, but still, she is in Ashok Vatika where Ravan has kidnapped her and kept her. And every moment of her life and every breath of her life, she is waiting for Lord Ram. But not only her, there are so many devotees in Dandakaranya, in Chitrakoot, in Sharbhanga Rishi Ashram, who are waiting all throughout. They are waiting for Prabhu Ram, for the darshan of Bhagwan Ram, for the fruit of their devotion. And thus meeting with all these greatest of the devotees and showing to us what devotion is all about. It's so internal. Nobody knows them. Nobody knows about them. It is their inner connection with their beloved Lord. It is their inner hearts and minds, the inner self, which is totally absorbed and immersed in the longing of the Lord. Continuously the tears gushing down in the thought of their beloved Lord, in the remembrance of their beloved Lord. This is bhakti. How many of us give importance to our minds? Devotion. Man ki bhakti. When Jagat Guruttam Swami Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, our beloved Gurudev, again and again and again emphasizes on this, begs us to practice devotion with our minds. Man karu sumiran Radha, sumiran karle mana, Radharu Radha Ramana. Man, man, man. And when listening also, mind you listen, not the body's presence is just enough in a satsang. Ek काम की बात सुनो मन, एक अनोखी बात सुनो मन. मन सुनो, मन कीर्तन करो, मन सुमिरन करो. सुमिरन करने वाला मन ही है. मन पर केंद्रित करो, नहीं करते। शरीर पर करते, बाहर पर करते। और जब तक मन से भक्ति नहीं होगा, हम साधक ही नहीं कहलाएंगे। भक्त तो बहुत दूर की बात। We will not be even called aspirants, seekers in true sense, unless and until we direct our devotion exclusively mentally. Mentally. It's the mind that needs to practice devotion. It's your mental action of longing for the Lord, the love for the Lord, not your physical actions. The world sees this. God does not see all this. He sees your mind, only your mind, your heart. When I say mind, understand man, buddhi, chit, ahankar. Understand this subtle thing, man, buddhi. Both are taken into account here. Your antahakaran, your inner self. So, devotion is absolutely independent. It's not dependent on anything. More das kahai nar asa. तो कहु ऐसा कस विश्वासा. People call themselves my das, my devotee, but they are dependent even on others, on other human beings, on other beings, on others. What kind of vishwas, what kind of faith, what kind of love, what kind of devotion to me is this, says the Lord. I had explained to you all in detail of this verse. Now, further here the Lord is saying, Bhakti Swatantra. It is Bhakti devotion is independent. And Sakala Sukha Khani. And it is the reservoir of all the happiness. It is the source of all the happiness. It is the treasure house of all the happiness. All the happiness. We seek for happiness. Well, we cannot attain it without devotion to God. Full stop. Bhakti swatantra sakala sukha khani. Lekin, however, binu satsanga na pavahi prani. Without satsang, one can never attain this pure true devotion, this devotional feeling even in the heart and mind for the Supreme Almighty Lord. Satsang is a must. And that's what we don't want. How many people are seated here in the satsang? A handful of you? And how many people are loitering outside? They don't need satsang? No. They don't need. परे हो गए सब, पार कर दिए, उनको सत्संग की जरूरत नहीं है, नहीं है. ये अमोलक रतन मिल रहा है. लोग कहते हैं सत्संग के लिए कि गंगा स्वयं हमारे पास आ गई. गोता लगाओ. हम नहीं समझते मूल सत्संग का. We don't understand the value of satsang. And here, Bhagwan Ramchandra ji is saying, not Gopeshwari Devi. Bhakti swatantra sakala sukha khani, lekin binu satsanga na pavahi prani. So who gets satsang? Who gets the heart and the mind to be seated in satsang like few of you? Punne punja binu milahina santa at satsang gati sansriti kar anta. Your great devotional earnings of your past life pushes you from inside to be present in satsang. Though on one hand your mind may be telling you, let's go out, let's eat halwa puri, let's do this, let's do that. But internally there is a push, a very strong push that you cannot ignore because of your punya deeds, because of your accumulated devotional actions, results of the past, that you yourself force yourself to be present in a satsang. Not anybody and everybody can be present in the satsang. So punya punja binu milahina santa, association with the saint, with a saintly person. I am not claiming myself to be saint here, But this is certainly a satsang. It's not a kusang where you are. It's the glorification of Lord's name, who is Param Sat. And these are the words of wisdom of Jagadguruttam Swami Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, who is the supreme Acharya of the time and age. And Bhakti Yog Rasa Avatar, he is the divine descension. So association with such a divine saint and God's words of wisdom and God in your thoughts and mind is satsang. And without this satsang, we cannot just even, the seed of rather devotion and love for God will not be sprouted in our hearts and minds. So we would never have that kind of longing or love for the Lord. Those who very cheerfully and also desperately long for satsangs and enjoy being in satsangs, well, it's their punya. It's their great devotional fruits that brings them in satsang. So bhakti swatantra sakala sukh khani, lekin binu sat sang na pavahi prani. These are the golden words of the Lord. You and I, we cannot change it. If you refute it, if you try not to accept it, well, that's your problem. It's not God's problem. You choose to go through the cycle of transmigration and go through the sufferings in the hellish fire, that's your problem. God has given you mind and intellect to listen, to think, to understand, and to make a choice. Remember, yesterday I told you all that tat shrinuvan vipithan vicharan paro bhaktya vimuchya nara. We all need to do bhakti. No one can claim in this world that I don't need to practice bhakti. I don't need to sit and listen to this. I've already heard all these talks. This egoistic thing is going to destroy us. So bhakti swatantra sakala sukha khani, lekin binu satsang na pavahi prani. Tyagahi karma shubha shubha dayak. Shubh karma ashubh karma. Oh Didi ji, I was engaged in the pious virtuous actions. Tyagahi, abandon it, says the Lord. Your virtuous deeds, your righteous deeds, or the unrighteous deeds, wherever you were engaged, abandon it. Abandon it. Leave it. त्याग करो. क्या त्याग करे? शुभ अशुभ दोनों. अच्छा बुरा दोनों. Good and bad both. Virtue and vice both. Righteous and unrighteous both. All kinds of your actions, thoughts, and deeds. Tyagahi karma. Karma means actions. Tyagahi karma shubha shubh dayak. Bhajahi mohi sur nar muni nayak. ये सब शुभ अशुभ को त्याग करके मेरा भजन करते हैं, मेरी भक्ति करते हैं, वो भक्त लोग, वो सुर हो, नर हो, मुनि हो, कोई हो, सबके लिए एक law, one law for all, whether they are the celestial beings, though they are in the bhog yoni, but taking even their names, who are above this world, or they are the human beings, or they are the rishis and the munis. Tyagahi karma shubha shubha dayak, bhajahi mohi sur nar muni nayak. और हम कहां से अकड़ करके चलते? On what basis do we have this ego with a soul and heart puffed out with a chest that I don't need satsang? I'm engaged in performing this action or that action. When the Lord is saying, abandon all your actions, good or bad, and do little bit of the glorification of my name, of my glories. Because without satsang, bhakti can never be given birth in your hearts and minds. How important this satsang is. Sri Maharaj Ji has given us all daily listening. It's also on YouTube. Those of you who have never ever heard about Jagat Guru Uttam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, just go, just on YouTube, Jagat Guru Uttam Swami Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, Satya Sat Sat Ho. And the in-depth meaning of satsang and the significance of satsang, Sri Maharaj is telling here, and it is a daily listening that we need to daily remind ourselves of. Because the human mind, especially in Kali Yuga, is very, very, very small, very limited. Very ignorant are we. We forget things. I'm saying things now, I'm giving you this philosophical talk. As you are listening, you are forgetting. In the end of the lecture, if I ask, you'll hardly remember one thing only. This is the state of our minds. I tell people, please go and bring me a glass of water. They go out and they start talking or doing something else, and they never come back with a glass of water. Simple thing. So what to say of these philosophical talks? We'll remember this? No. That is why it is so important, satsang, especially listening to the divine philosophy again and again, reminding the truth, and then glorifying the Lord's name again and again to purify the heart and mind. So bhakti swatantra sakala sukha khani, lekin binu satsanga na pavahi prani, त्यागहि कर्म शुभा शुभदायक, भजहि मोहि सुर नर मुनि नायक. This is what Bhagwan Ram states himself. You know, in his speech that I had told you on the first day, it is right there. And now Bhagwan, meeting with Kevat, again talks of the bhakti which I talked to you all about yesterday. And now today we are going to proceed where Bhagwan Ram is talking to us all about, just in case one of us, he's not expecting the entire world to follow his instructions. Though he's hopeful and very optimistic, God is always very optimistic. So are the saints. They leave their doors open and their businesses never close for us to liberate us. That's their business. Unconditional. वो कभी दरवाजा नहीं बंद करते हमारे लिए. आशावादी हैं भगवान और संत, इंतजार करते हैं, बट जानते हैं कि सारा संसार कहां हमारा बात सुनने वाला है. फिर भी शायद सुन ले. If one even soul listens to what I'm saying, then that soul will start to say, okay, my Lord, I'm ready to practice devotion at your lotus feet, exclusive devotion to you. So what is all this devotion? How many kinds of devotion there are, and what is all this devotion? So Bhagwan Ram himself, when he trod on this earth for 11,000 years, once he spoke the divine words of wisdom, and now once he is revealing the 9 forms of devotion. Through whom? Through that ardent devotee who had received all of the 9. And that is when the Lord walks to her, and she is none other than Mata Shabri, who is a tribal woman coming from the same kind of tribe. Bhilini she is. From the age of 7, from a very young age, till the age of 99, she kept on waiting desperately for Lord Ram's darshan. Just because she was a tribal woman who was considered to be untouchable, because your greatest sins give you birth in the lowest forms. It's your own action which puts you in that situation, in that condition. So Mata Shree accepted this truth. She never fought it. Why I am born as a tribal woman? Why I am born as an outcast? Why am I born as untouchable? She never questioned it. Her devotion itself gave her the wisdom and the strength to accept this truth that I am a very fallen sinner. It's my past sinful actions and the results of it which has come as my prarabdha to be born as an untouchable tribal woman where nobody, and this is the time of Treta Yuga, you guys are sitting in Kali Yuga and you are probably questioning, this is not right, blah, blah, blah. You can say, your mind can say all this because we are in Kali Yuga. Kali mala grase dharma sab lupta bhaye sadgranth. Kali Yuga has eaten all the dharmas. So we don't know what dharma adharma is. So we may question and do all sorts of ifs and buts. But this is the time of Treta Yuga. Sat Yuga, the golden age. Just very little of the pollution had started to creep in. Not a lot. So the rigid rules and regulations and the laws of creation still applied. In that Treta Yuga lived Mata Shree. Though, when it comes to Godhead personality and the God-realized saints, then be one the greatest of the sinners, yesterday I told you, or be one the most pure of the souls. Bhakti is free and open to all. And the greatest God-realized saints and Godhead personality receive and accept each one of us, whether we are fallen, whether we are absolute, wretched, wicked people, or we are the best of the people, the most pious of the persons. As long as we come and take shelter at the divine lotus feet of a true, genuine spiritual master and Godhead personality, they receive us, embrace us, accept us, and grace us. We have to take the move first, though. अकड़ के बैठोगे तो वो भी बहुत अकड़ना जानते हैं फिर. जो तू धावे एक पग तो मैं धाऊं 60, लेकिन जो तू कर रहे काट तो मैं लोहे की लाट. कितने भी बड़ा कोई पापी अपिचेत सुदराचार्य भजते माम मनन्य भाग. Even in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, in the 9th chapter, 30th verse of the Bhagavad Gita, proclaims that one can be a man-eater and a dog-eater. The moment he realizes his sins and wickedness and evilness and comes to me and takes shelter unto me, I will place that person on the equal level of my greatest of the devotees. God and saints don't see this, but the world sees it. The world saw Shree as a tribal woman, as an untouchable sinner. Nobody was going to go and teach her anything. She was not allowed in the temples. Thus, Shree lived in the jungles, in the dense forest, where there is pitch darkness. From the age of 7 till the age of 99, she kept on waiting for Ram. Her hope for her beloved Lord never faded, never got shaken, and never got weak. Day by day, it got stronger, if anything. He will come, that faith alone, without any knowledge about the scriptures. Who teach her the scriptures? Without any association with any saintly persons. Her some pious deed of the past life that still was glowing. That one little thing, one little fruit of her true devotion, उनका कोई पूर्व जन्म के किया हुआ कोई भक्ति कर्म का एक बहुत छोटा सा दिया जल रहा था, जिस लोह के कारण, जिस दिया के लोह के कारण वो पुकार, वो तड़प था भगवान के लिए। लेकिन कहाँ मिलेंगे, कैसे मिलेंगे, कब मिलेंगे, कुछ नहीं पता शबरी को, क्योंकि जात की भिलनी है और जंगल में रहने वाली जंगली है। कोई तरीका नहीं आता, एकदम इलिटरेट है, इग्नोरेंट है, एकदम बुद्धू है, कुछ नहीं उसको आता। कोई उसको पूछता भी नहीं। When Shabri at any time would get out of the jungles to come and fetch water from the well, it was one well where she had to walk for miles and miles to come and get water. There was one well with pure drinking water, sweet water, because most of it, it will have salty water as well. So this was the only well. It was not very far from Maharshi Matang's. There was a great Maharishi, a great saint, Maharishi Matang's ashram. Though Maharshi Matang's ashram was way out in the forests, but the path led to that ashram. So all the ashramites, those scholars, Vedic scholars, dwelling in that ashram, staying in that ashram of Maharshi Matang, getting the Vedic scholarly wisdom, learning the Vedas from their guru, Maharshi Matang. They would come to fetch the water from this same well. One day, Shabri would come out when she would see nobody around. It would be those early hours of the morning when the world is still sleeping, or it would be late in the night. One day, you may say, fortunately, not unfortunately, though it looks very unfortunate, but it's a blessing. When she came out from the jungles to fetch some water, the scholars, the pandits of Maharshi Matang's ashram saw her from far. And they said, "Oh, my Jove, this Bhilini, this tribal woman, this untouchable sinner, this dirty woman has polluted our waters. Now we can't drink from that same well. She has touched it. We'll have to go to another well." And they started throwing stones at Shabri and cursing Shabri, swearing at Shabri, abusing Shabri, insulting Shabri. Every insulting word and every abusing word that was uttered on Shabri, Shabri heard only one thing. What did she hear? Ram. 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 She didn't even know that these were swear words. They were swearing, criticizing, insulting Shabri. Malich kahin ki, jaat ki philni kahin ki पापिन कहीं की, हमारा पूरा तुमने ये पानी, ये जल जो इतना स्वच्छ था उसको गंदा कर दिया है. When they were saying all this, she was only listening, she was only hearing one thing, Ram, Ram, Ram. And she was getting over-thrilled that they are all saying Ram to her. She was so Ram-may. Nothing mattered. The whole world was dead for her. And then, when they threw the stone at Shabri, Shabri ke upar patthar pheka, Shabri's forehead started bleeding. When it hit her, her cheeks started bleeding. When it hit her, her arms started bleeding. But she never felt, even to the slightest degree, any pain. कोई कष्ट महसूस ही नहीं हुआ. She felt that it was flowers thrown at her. They were saying Ram and throwing flowers at her. Who was getting hurt? whose forehead was bleeding, whose limbs were bleeding, who was feeling the pain? Ram. Ram. Bhagwan Ram. Maharaj Ji tells us, Jagat Guru Uttam Swami Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, our beloved Guru Ji tells us, the one greatest obstacle on the path of our devotion that hinders our devotional progress is that we do not see God in everyone. Rather, we do not have the faith that the Supreme God dwells in everyone, in every heart, in every aspect of this creation. हम लोग इस बात को विश्वास नहीं करते कि भगवान कण कण में व्याप्त है, सबके हृदय में बैठे हैं, नहीं मानते. इसलिए किंतु परंतु क्यों में क्यों, चुगली चोरी चंडाली सब करते हम लोग. नहीं मानते कि वो सर्वव्यापी सर्वांतर्यामी भगवान सब जगह व्याप्त, सबके अंतःकरण में व्याप्त, सब कुछ देख रहे हैं, नोट कर रहे हैं. जिस दिन मान लेंगे, महाराज जी कहते हैं, हमारा भगवत प्राप्ति हमने 99% क्रॉस कर दिया. हर वक्त तुमको ये रहेगा कि भगवान हमारे साथ, सबके साथ, सब देख रहे. God is omnipresent, omniscient, all-knowing, present everywhere. That will take us 19, it will lead us on our devotional path. But we don't. We do things secretly. The very word secret and private will be abolished from the dictionary of a sincere devotee. There is nothing which is secret and there is nothing which is private. एक भक्त के लिए ये दो शब्द कभी एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं हो सकता कि छुप के हम कुछ करें. क्या छुप के करोगे? किससे छुपाओगे? वो तो देख रहे, जान रहे, वो तो सर्वव्यापी सर्व अंतर्यामी है. बट विश्वास नहीं होता. और एक दूसरा, हमारा फेथ नहीं उनमें. हम मानते नहीं, हम एक्सेप्ट नहीं. नंबर वन, वी डोंट एक्सेप्ट दैट ही इज प्रेजेंट everywhere, in everyone. Number two, we don't hold that faith in him, in his omnipresence, in his omniscient nature, in him itself. So, Shree had that faith. That is why everywhere, in everyone, she witnessed, hey, beloved Ram, waiting one day for him to come in his divine form. He is dwelling in all. Every word spoken by anyone was coming out as my beloved Ram wishes. And it's the name of Ram that she is hearing only. It's the flowers that are being thrown. She's not feeling the pain, because she's so immersed in the devotion of God that that feeling of pain is gone. And the feeling of pleasure is also gone. She's gone beyond it. This Shree, as soon as she had entered, she had gone into to get that water. And these people, the greatest of the scholars, had started to criticize and condemn her and abuse her. They could never, these pundits, these scholars could never go back to the well, to that well, to get pure water anyway. Whenever they went to get water from any other well even, the water was never pure. It had worms in it. And whenever Shree went to get the water, Shree saw it absolutely pure. There was no worms. कीड़े पड़ गए थे, सब कुएं में कीड़े पड़ गए थे, क्योंकि Shree को गालियां निकाला कि तुमने कुएं का पानी ले लिया तो पानी गंदा हो गया. ये बड़े बड़े जो बड़े विद्वान वेद के वक्ता बन रहे थे, महर्षि मतंग के आश्रम में रहते थे, उन्होंने इतने गालियां दी तो उनके लिए सचमुच में कीड़ा पड़ गए. उनको पीने की पानी नहीं मिल रही थी कहीं, और Shree वही कुएं में जा रही है और उनको पीने का स्वच्छ जल मिल रहा है. वहां कोई कीड़ा पीड़ा नहीं है, कोई बदबू नहीं, गंदगी नहीं. लेकिन इन विद्वानों को बदबू आ रही. They could smell very bad smell coming from the well, while for Shree No bad smell. Everything was great. This is Bhagwan's Leela. This is Ram Leela. This is omnipotency, omnipotent power of the Almighty, majestic Lord. वो क्या नहीं कर सकते? चीटी को ब्रह्मा बना दे, ब्रह्मा को चीटी बना दे. क्या नहीं कर सकते? आप सोच नहीं सकते. So, Shree, she continued because they would not get into that well. They would go somewhere, but they could never find pure water anywhere anyway. It was very difficult for them. But in the meantime, Shree was feeling very bad. She had no intention to hurt anybody. She thought she had done the wrong, and she really, really cried for forgiveness. Whether they forgave her or not, she was not worried about that. She was more worried about hurting them. This is how humble Shree's heart is, how true she is the devotee of God. Thus, there comes a time when Shree also started collecting. Anyway, she always did that. She always collected firewood. Lakdiyan batorti thi. Firewood from the dense jungle all day long. And flowers and fruits. She would collect everything in the dense forest during the daybreak, when it would be midnight hours, when all the ashram lights would be off. Then she will quietly come cleaning the path where these scholars, these pandits, or even maybe some great sages and saints dwelling in the jungles may take this path, this trail to walk, to go across from one place to the other. She'd sweep it, she'd clean it, and she'll carry all that big burden of a pile of firewood on her head and bring it to Maharishi Matang's ashram. She knew that this is a great ashram of some great saint where all these greatest of the scholars and pandits are learning Vedas. She could hear the sounds of the Vedas, Vedic hymns. So she would go and put the firewood for their use. And she'll put the flowers to be offered and the fruits to be eaten. And she'd quietly run away from there when nobody could see her, because she was untouchable tribal woman. Anything touched by her will not be accepted by anyone in the society. She knew this. She was a fallen sinner, but she could not stop herself from doing this great seva. This is sevak. हम एक झाड़ू लगाते हैं तो हम चाहते हैं सारा दुनिया हमें देखे कि हम झाड़ू लगा रहे हैं. हम ये कर रहे हैं. लोग हमसे बोलते, दीदी जी आपने देखा, मैंने ये किया, मैंने कहा हम क्यों देखें तुमको, क्या है तुम्हारे में कि हम देखें. लेकिन हमारा प्राइड, एक सेवक छुप करके सेवा करता है. A true sincere sevak does the seva in a very gupta manner, very secret manner. Gopaniyam, 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 sada, sada. In a very gupta manner. So, Shree would do it when nobody would see. Plus, there was another reason, and that reason was that she was Bhilni. She was a tribal woman, untouchable. Maybe her seva will not be accepted, but she could not stop herself from doing seva. This is seva. This is humble seva. This is seva. No competition, no fight, no ill feelings, no good feelings. Not even the feeling of I doing the seva is there in the heart of Shree. She doesn't even know that this is seva. She only knows that she has to do this. She wants to do this. She loves doing this for those sages and for those people dwelling, for those scholars. So every day she would do that, but one day came the day of her greatest fortune. As I said, fortunately, about that well, now I'm going to say it was not that unfortunate, it was that fortunate day that Maharishi Matang now knows that his scholars have abused her. So he fast forwarded the whole thing, that the time has come, so I better ask these scholars of mine, these all these Pandits who consider themselves to be great intellectuals, these Brahmins, they consider themselves to be great Vedic scholars. Let me ask them to do some favor for me, which they will think they are doing some seva, some favor. And let me test them out and show them where they stand. So Maharishi Matang said, there is somebody who has been bringing these piles and piles of firewood for years and years. Has any one of you seen? They say, no, Guruji. Whoever that person is comes in the past midnight hours when we are already asleep. So today, you all will not sleep, but hide yourselves around the bushes and watch and see who is this person who has been bringing for years these firewoods and the fruits and the flowers. Okay, Guruji. Then they thought that they've got this great seva to do now because they're great scholars. And Guruji has given them this very personal seva of catching whoever this person is and bringing that person to Guruji. Maharishi Matang said, bring that person to me. Catch hold of that person and bring. So they understood it wrongly. This is how the Kali mind also understands, and this is how the polluted mind understands, which lacks devotion. They will understand even Guru's Vani opposite. Everything will be twisted and turned around for them. You say something and it means something else for them. So Guru is saying, catch hold of the person and bring. Now they are thinking, that person must not be a good person. That's why Guruji today has asked us to catch hold of the person and bring the person. Must be not right person. That's how they are thinking, when Guru's meaning is something else. Anyway, that night Shree comes with a pile of firewood and a big basket of the berries and fruits and flowers all everywhere, tucked here. She is walking. Very old she was, already 90 plus. And she was very slowly walking, watching. The lights are all off. Now I can take all this for these ashram people and for the rishi who lives there. She had never seen the rishi, but before the rishi had asked that day, before he had asked the disciples to catch hold of the person who was bringing the firewood, that day Matang Rishi was standing in his ashram outside, and Shree from very, very far away had for the first time, she had the slightest glimpse of Maharishi Matang. एक महापुरुष का जरा सा भी दूर से भी दर्शन पर्याप्त है अनंत पाप नष्ट करने के लिए, और वो सुंदर फल भक्ति का फल देने के लिए. From very far she had seen Maharishi Matang, very, very slight glimpse. And that is the day Maharishi Matang, because he is a great God-realized saint. He knows exactly where he's standing, why he's standing there at that moment, to give darshan to Shree, to allow Shree to have his darshan. Until and unless a saint allows one to have the darshan, the person, no matter how hard one tries and cracks the head against the wall, can never have the darshan of a saint. दर्शन नहीं मिल सकता है, संग का बात तो बहुत दूर की, उनकी प्रेम पाना वो तो और भी अलग, उनकी कृपा पाना. दर्शन भी दूर से नहीं होता जब तक वो संत नहीं चाहेगा या भगवान नहीं चाहेगा कि वो जीव अधिकारी है, अब उसको दर्शन होना चाहिए मेरा. उस दिन आया कि महर्षि मातंग ने जाना कि आज शबरी को मेरा दर्शन चाहिए, दूर से दे दिया अपना दर्शन. और एक्टिंग में तो संत ऐसा एक्टिंग करते हैं और भगवान भी कि जैसे हमें कुछ पता ही नहीं. तो और फिर अपने शिष्यों से कहा कि जो कोई भी यहाँ पे रोज ला ला करके वर्षों से फ्रॉम इयर्स ये फायरवुड रखता है और ये आग जलाने की लकड़ियां रखता है और ये फल फूल रखते हैं, उसको पकड़ करके ले आना मेरे पास. So that night all the ashram scholars, they are hiding, and they see Shree slowly walking towards the ashram. She's putting the firewood and all the fruits and flowers on the sides, cleaning it, sweeping it, cutting the bushes, making the path clear for the greatest of the personalities who may be dwelling in this jungle, and then slowly moves on with this firewood and everything. Ultimately, she reaches the ashram, and she just puts the firewood and the flowers and the fruits. And before she could turn around and go, all the ashramites say, "Oh, it is this Achut, this greatest sinner, this untouchable tribal woman, this Bhilani. Oh, brushed ho gaya, brushed. Destroyed is our life. Ruined is our life. All our Vedic knowledge that we have attained, it is contaminated by the touch of that Shrees. This woman, these Bhilani's fruits, flowers that we had been partaking. We had been eating this thing touched by her. And we had been burning fire, and that firewood was touched by hair. All these years, hamara sab dharam brushed ho gaya. Our dharam is destroyed, is gone, is contaminated, is polluted. Dharam can never be polluted. But this is the little knowledge they have, the ignorance rather I should say, of these greatest of the so-called scholars. Thus, they are not going to touch Shree. Oh, no. If they touch Shree, she's untouchable. They will become untouchables, remember? This is their ignorance. I'll tell you one thing. When I first went to India in 1980, that year, I had gone to Vrindavan. Sri Maharaji had come to Vrindavan for a few days, so I was in Vrindavan. Until now, I could not find fresh flowers because I met Maharaji in Mussoorie. There is no fresh flower garlands there. So we used to put the garlands like this, the pearl. So then I came from Fiji. I'm a fourth generation born in Fiji, like my great-great-grandparents come from Fiji, right? So I was always used to offering flower garlands to God. So when I met Maharaji, of course, I wanted to offer a flower garland to Maharaji. And there was no flower garland in Mussoorie. So when I came to Vrindavan, this is the first time I'd meet Maharaji outside of Mussoorie. So in Vrindavan, I heard that there is Bake Bihari Mandir, and outside Bake Bihari Mandir, there are rose flower garlands and there are marigold flower garlands. I knew both. So I thought, oh, great. So somebody told me, I just asked someone, I said, can you get some flower garlands here, or flowers here to make garland? And that person said, yes, Bake Bihari Mandir. Outside there, people sell. I said, okay, where is it? I didn't know where. First of all, this is my first time in Vrindavan anyway. I didn't know where Bake Bihari was. Devotees told me where to go. So I just followed that road, and I ended up outside Bake Bihari Mandir, and I got this flower garland, the beautiful flower garland. I can't remember whether it was a marigold one or a rose one. Something had run out. I think the rose ran out, so it was marigold probably. So I got that, and I wanted to go and offer it to Maharaji. But before that, I saw this is a mandir, and they call it Bake Bihari. So the curtains opened, and in not less than even a minute, the curtains closed. And I said, what is this going on? And then there was this big, huge crowd which gathered before me. And I was like behind, so way back. And I couldn't even see. So everybody was trying to leap and see. When the curtains opened, everybody was like waiting to see Bake Bihari. And I just couldn't even have a glimpse of this Bake Bihari because the people were all crowded before me and they were all leaping to see. So anyway, and then you can hardly see Bake Bihari and the curtains close again. And I said to Bake Bihari, I said, I don't want to have your darshan. I was a 17-year-old kid. And I said to Bake Bihari, I knew that this Bake Bihari is Krishna. So I said to Krishna, I don't want your darshan. You can sit there. What is this curtain opening and curtain closing? And all these people. And anyway, Maharaji will be out there and I'll have to go and offer this garland. I'm taking this. So I just said this to Bake Bihari and I moved away from there. Now through this lane, gali, I am walking towards the ashram. And people saw me coming from that side. Like I'm walking in this direction, people coming that direction. They saw me and they gave me a very weird look. घूर घूर के देखते हैं जो उधर से आ रहे हैं. मैं इधर से जा रही हूँ माला लेकर. मैंने बाके बिहारी से कहा मुझे तुम्हारा दर्शन पर्शन नहीं चाहिए अभी. ये क्या है, पर्दा बंद होता है, पर्दा खुलता है, अभी ये लोग ऐसा ऐसा कूदते यहाँ पे, हम जा रहे. तो हम निकल गए, चलने लगे. और जब मैं जा रही हूँ इधर, तो लोग जो उधर से आ रहे हैं वो मेरे को घूर घूर देख रहे हैं. Very weird. And they would move far away. And I thought, I had just read the book Nectar in a Sieve by Kamala Makandaya. She's a very good writer. And I was an English literature student as well in India. So I just read that book and I said, oh, I just read about the untouchables. I didn't know what this untouchable business is, right? हमारा फीजी में ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य शूद्र सब एक कोई जानता नहीं क्या क्या चीजें हैं. तो हमको तो पता ही नहीं था. तो ये अनटचबल अछूत भी नहीं पता था. तो मैंने वो किताब पढ़ा तो उसमें अनटचबल पढ़ा था. मैंने कहा oh maybe this is what untouchable, they think I'm untouchable. Maybe मुझे वो लोग अछूत मानते हैं. That is why they don't want to come near me and they're giving me a weird look. Anyway, just for a second the thought comes and I didn't care. I just kept on going, singing the chanting and taking big strides, trying to reach ashram very fast so that I could garland Maharaji. But the people who were coming from behind me, also they cut like that and then they went in front and then they turned back and they were giving me a weird look. I said, they're all thinking I'm an untouchable. So talking about Shabri just reminded me of this. Anyway, so but I kept on going. And then I had that mala, you know, they wrap it in these dry leaves and they give it to you. So I had it in my hand and I was just walking and the mala was like the ball of mala, the garland was in my hand. There came a bump, a hit at my back. Something hit me. It was a reflex action. My hand opens. Like I just go like this and I turn back. And there was this cow, this wild cow, who had followed me all the way from Bake Bihari Mandir. This wild cow was the wildest Golok cow probably. Following me all the way and eating every flower of that garland. So the last one was still here, right? I'm holding it. So the last garland mala flower is here in my palm. So that's why that hit, that slight hit, it was not a bad one. It was a slight hit. And then maybe with the mouth. And I saw that the last one was also snatched by her and she had it. The thread was hanging like this and all the mala she had eaten. I said, okay, Bake Bihari, you took it? Good. Maharaji and Bake Bihari, no difference. Offered. From that day, I never got any malas. Then, long time after, when I became a preacher, somebody said, hey, Didi, can you make this mala? And I said, okay, I'll make the mala. I made the mala and I'm now so embarrassed and ashamed and I don't know, like sitting in that garden, the Seva Kunj it was, which is now Bhakti garden, sitting in a corner and I'm thinking, how do I put it on Maharaji? And Maharaji just comes straight to me, gets the garland from my hand, just like the cow did, and gets it and wears it. This is Bake Bihari, this is my guru. How great God realized saints and God. They know every fraction of a second thought, and they know your bhav. Huh? Though I had no bhakti, nothing. So coming back to Mata Shabri, Matang Rishi knew everything, everything. Today was the day to grace her. So all these scholars who are thinking themselves to be great, they are nothing. Only the realized saints are everything, not anybody who follows them becomes. I am just Maharaj's preacher, I am not Maharaji. I am nowhere near, I am not even a speck of a foot dust of my Guru. Though I am sitting here, you may honor me as another saint. I am not a saint. I am nothing. Just doing a seva. So, Matang Rishi is Matang Rishi, but all those greatest of the Vedic scholars, they are simply person, like you and I. So, they said, we're not going to touch this sinful lady, this sinner, this untouchable woman. Definitely we're not going to touch. So they made a circle and they said, you just keep moving as we move. And you are to go to our Guru today. He has asked for us to get you to him. She started crying. She bitterly cried and begged for forgiveness and said, I am achut, I am just a sinner, a very fallen woman. I shouldn't have touched the firewoods and brought the firewoods here. I shouldn't have brought the flowers and all this while. I'm sorry, please forgive me, please let me go. They said, no, today you will be punished for the wrongs you have done. Anyway, she's taken and they just move and she has to move, and finally she goes to Maharishi Matang. They say, Guruji, she is the chore. She is the cheat. She is the robber. She is that wicked person who has been doing this. Maharishi Matang started crying. Tears of love. Tears of devotion. Seeing this devotee, Shabri. Maharishi Matang falls at the feet of Mata Shabri. Hey Mate, hey Devi, mera jivan aaj safal hua. All these years, I lived in this planet waiting for one devotee. And today I found you, Mother. Today I found you, Devi, the purest of the purest, the most sincere bhakta. From today onwards, you are not going to live in jungle. You're going to live here in the ashram. You're not just going to eat anything. You're going to eat the ashram food. My time is up. I'm leaving this body and I'm going from this world. But Bhagavan Ram is on his way. Soon, he'll be gracing you in this ashram. Wait for him. Wait for his arrival. प्रभु राम आएंगे, इसी आश्रम में आएंगे, तुम्हारे पास आएंगे. उनका इंतजार करना, मैं जा रहा हूं. मेरा जीवन आपको पा करके धन्य हो गया, सफल हो गया, ऐसे परम भक्त को प्राप्त करके. When the scholars heard this, they ran away. They said, Guruji is not one screw, but all the 4 screws have gone loose. Guruji has gone mental. They're mental and they think Guruji is mental. Yes, this is the way of the world. They all ran away. They said, if this untouchable woman lives here, we will not. But for Guru, it matters not. Guru is in the outlook for one sincere devotee. खोटा सिक्का साथ चलता है, चला लेंगे, लेकिन वो तो एक सच्चे भक्त के इंतजार में. मनुष्य नाम सहस्रेषु कश्चित यतत सिद्धे यततामपि सिद्धानाम कश्चिन माम वेत्ति तत्वतः. 7th chapter, 3rd verse, Bhagavad Gita. Out of millions who are seen to tread on the path of love and devotion, who are seen to practicing devotion to me, rarely there is one true devotee. And that true devotee is also walking on this path of devotion just like one walks on banana peelings. Try to walk on banana peelings, you'll know what I'm saying. anytime you can slip and fall. That one sincere devotee, there is that doubt always there, whether he'll reach or not. Maya is so balwan, so powerful is Maya. So anyway, all of them ran away. Shree says, no, I'm not deserving. Matang Rishi said, this is my agya, Guru agya. You have found your Guru. Shree cries and cries and cries with love and devotion, cries her heart out. With the Yog Agni, fire, Matang Rishi is gone, and Shree, for every moment of Shree is like eons for her. Yug beat raha ek kshan unke liye. When there is a fall of a dry leaf, oh, Ram. When she goes to fetch water, Ram may be coming. All the time, just Ram. And finally, Bhagwan Ram comes. But the time is up. So, I'm bounded by your time. Not by God's time, but by your time. So I'll have to end it here, and you'll all have to come tomorrow to listen to the 9 forms of devotion. Though I will very briefly tell you what Bhagwan Ram says about this devotion. Just in case someone does not have a life tomorrow, then what? If I don't have it, then? So I better tell you the 9 forms of devotion before I go. We don't know when the life will end. Prathama bhakti santan kari sanga, aur dusari rati mama katha prasanga, guru pad pankaj seva. तीसरी भक्ति अमान, चौथी भक्ति मम गुण गण करहि कपट तजिगान, मंत्र जाप मम दृढ़ विश्वासा, पंचम भजन सुबेद प्रकाशा, छठ दम शील बिरति बहु कर्मा, निरत निरंतर सज्जन धर्मा, सातव सम मोहि मया जग देखा, मोते अधिक संत करि लेखा, आठव जथा लाभ संतोषा, सपनेहु नहीं देखहि पर दोषा, नवम सरल सब सन छलहीना, मम भरोस हिया Harshana Dina. 9 forms of devotion. Tomorrow we will continue. Boliye Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagwan ki. Boliye Shrimad Sadguru Sarkar ki. एक बार बोलिए दुर्गा मैया की. जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे. बोलिए जगद्गुरुत्तम स्वामी श्री कृपालु जी महाप्रभु की, आज के संगत की जय.
Radhe Radhe. Welcome everyone on this lecture series. Thank you so much Didi ji for this divine lecture series.